In these divided times in Washington, we wanted to hear from a senator who has pledged to work across the aisle. Democratic Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania was the first sitting Democrat to head to Mar-a-Lago to meet with Trump. What was that meeting like, and what are his thoughts on the flurry of early actions? We were with him on Capitol Hill today, talking with him. And a note, to better hear us, the senator used his phone to help caption the questions that we asked him. Busy day, first day for President Trump. I'd like to start with the pardons for the January 6th rioters. Of course, he's had sweeping pardons for roughly 1,500 of them, including some who committed violent acts against police officers. Your reaction to those pardons as far as the message that it might send?
Yeah, there were a lot of those pardons that day that I don't agree with, any more than some of the pardons that President Biden dropped that I didn't agree with those as well, too. I actually agreed on a lot of the pardons that I've signed on as Lieutenant Governor. I believe in second chances. Some people are very deserving of a second chance and get a pardon, and there's some that I don't agree that do that. So I don't agree with them. And many of them that I didn't agree with the president as well, too.
Yeah, what is your response to that? Because I know at one point you had suggested that you thought that it would be a good idea for President Biden to pardon President-elect Trump with regard to the hush money case.
What I'm saying, though, that pardons I can agree with, some that I don't, and I think that's really what it comes down to.
You obviously co-sponsored the Laken Riley Act, which was passed late yesterday. Some Democrats have said that they're unhappy with it, including Senator Kaine, who said that it's bad policy. What's your reaction to that?
I mean, they're entitled to their opinions and their views, and I believe, as someone that's very, very pro-immigration, as I have been consistently, that we can be very pro-immigration, and we should need a secure border. And if those people that have a criminal record or people that are actively engaging in criminal behavior, I don't know why it's controversial that those people they need to go.
As you know, President Trump declared an emergency at the southern border. Your thoughts on that? Good idea, bad idea?
Well, I think if 300,000 people were showing up on the border, as they were during a month not that long ago, I think it's important that we create a secure border. And that's really pretty much where we are.
As you know, initially, President Trump at one point had called you a raging lunatic, but then you went down. You're only the first sitting Democratic senator to actually go down to Mar-a-Lago. Days later, he said he thought that you were impressive. Can you take us to that moment and give us a sense of how that meeting went with you and President Trump at Mar-a-Lago?
I was invited to have a conversation with the president, and that I did, and that's what happened.
Do you share a lot of his ideals?
A lot of his ideals?
Yes.
I'm a Democrat. It's a strange question.
Well, I guess I'm wondering what made him go from
there's many things that I won't agree with, and there might be some that I do agree on that. But I'm a Democrat, and I'm going to remain a Democrat. So there's many of his ideals that I don't agree with. But that's pretty much that's how it works here. Some Democrats aren't going to agree with a lot of the things.
Right, but I guess I'm just trying to get a sense of, at one point he's saying you're a raging lunatic, and then he describes you as impressive. Was there any kind of extension of an olive branch, a meeting of the minds at Mar-a-Lago that caused him to have at least such a shift?
Yeah, well, I think if we all refuse to engage and talk to people that may have said things in the past that you might not appreciate, then we wouldn't be having conversations with a lot of people amongst ourselves.
I know that you've denied rumors that you would switch parties. Would you ever consider becoming an independent? No, that was never part of any conversation. And if you want to choose to respond to some weird things that you might read online, that's up to you, but that's not any part of any conversation I've ever considered. The advice that you've given to some of your Democratic colleagues who are concerned about a second term with Trump is you've got to chill out. And I'm wondering if there was any action or any words that he said on his first day that gave you pause.
Well, a lot of things, but he claimed that that's what's coming and that's where we are on that. And we all have a choice to respond to every last thing or whatever, but I'm going to kind of continue to find a lot of consistent wins for Pennsylvania.
Obviously, as we mentioned before, you were able to have the bipartisan bill with Lake and Riley. Any other primary goals that you feel like you'd like to reach across the aisle with Republicans on upcoming legislation?
You know, as they emerge, and that's going to continue to find and have those ongoing conversations with members of my colleagues here in the Senate. And now remember, the Republicans are going to drive the agenda, and I'm going to find a way to work together along all those kinds of priorities.
Okay. All right, Senator Fetterman, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.